Hello, everyone. I am Joanna Riquett. I'm originally from Colombia, where I'm currently speaking. I am based outside of Medellin, and it's hard to define myself. I always define myself depending on the context, because you could always go of like I'm an artist or I'm a an experienced designer or I'm a writer or I'm a practitioner, and I am all of those things, and they activate. They are always present in me, but they activate depending on where I am as well. So I am a lot of things, and at the same time, I am a student of life.
I love I love the idea that, the many multitudes of who we are get activated according to the situation in the scenario.
Mhm.
Like I have a someone who told me forever ago about seasons, like seasons of a person. Like he's like, I'm in a season of being a good father, but he's like, I have seasons of being a bad father because I'm in a season of being a good writer. I'm in a season of being a good practitioner. I'm in a season of being a good husband. And that we don't have to embody all those seasons all at once. Like
Mhm.
we just, but I like that. So like our many gifts and attitudes and personalities evolve to what we're meeting in the moment.
Because it would also be boring to see ourselves as one face, it's like just one person always that repeats in every kind of scenario. We always have different interests, and like we also get informed by our environment and the people that we're surrounded by. So different parts of us come alive in those different contexts. And as this your friend said, like I love the idea of the season, and how we can actually tap into that, because that also it's the rhythm of nature. Nature also goes through seasons, and so if we recognize ourselves also as seasonal beings, we're recognizing ourselves as part of nature as well.
Can I ask you what liberation means to you?
Liberation. Well, it's funny that you ask, because that recently I've been asking myself, like, why do I practice? Why do I do what I do? and
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 practice for you is what, like Buddhism, or do you call it something else, or is it meditation, or is it pray? Like, what is, yeah, that for you?
I think, I mean, the base of my practice is Zen Buddhism, as in the with the lineage of Thich Nhat Hanh and Plum Village tradition. So that is, those are my teachers, and that's what I take as like the base. But then I also incorporate many different traditions, as I also practice yoga, and I follow these teachers. I also I'm Colombian, and so the indigenous knowledge of the land also influences the way I practice. So practice to me is basically just going in, finding methods, tools, and ways to go in and to get to know myself deeper and deeper. And so, yeah.
Is that why you practice then? Just
Yeah, and so that's the question. It's like, because sometimes it's like, why do I have to self-analyze me so much? It's like I would like to take a break from self-analyzing. And then I have to ask myself this question again and again: why do I do what I do? And the answer that I come to more often is because I am looking for freedom. That is one of my searches. And it's not freedom as in, I can just go wherever I want and like do whatever I want, eat whatever I want, be with whoever I want, or be whoever I want to be. And all of those things are also a yes. But actually, the freedom to me is freedom from my own mind, like free from my own expectations of myself, free from all the paradigms that I hold myself. And it's a practice, because I need to practice it. I need to continue reminding myself, and to continue observing, because when you feel like you have figured something out, then something happens and you're like, "Oh, okay, I continue to practice."
yeah. You
Yeah.
mentioned the indigenous of where you come from. Can you tell me more about the relationship to indigenous knowledge to Buddhism, to your spiritual practice?
Mm, I feel like in a way everything is related in the sense that it's the language, it's the language of the heart, and it's the language, or it's like a dialogue and a conversation with nature and the nature elements. Uh, Buddhism or the indigenous peoples or Hinduism or any kind of practice in the end. Um, they invite you to recover that very sense of nature within yourself, whether that is like understanding your mind, or that is entering in dialogue, direct dialogue with nature and the elements and the seasons. And I think all of these are different ways of getting to the same place. And obviously, like when you are in a place with such a magnificent nature, like in Colombia, and all the different type of landscapes that we have here, you cannot help but wonder. It's like, I mean, we might be the species that have a brain and build buildings and drive cars, but like this is a whole ecosystem, and there is a whole world that interdepends. And how do you find that connection and that interrelation, and how do you know yourself as part of that? It's basically the exercise and the invitation that most of the teachers invite you to do. So I think, one way or another, it's interrelated, inter as my teacher explains this as well.
How'd you find yourself in Plum Village?
Mm, the short story is that at the time I was living in Costa Rica, and I was curating the programming and the artist residency for a place that we had there. It's like a community hotel, and I was receiving a lot of proposals from teachers and facilitators that were around my age, let's say, beautiful people that had developed a beautiful practice, but I was looking for the depth of experience. Like who are the great masters of our times that are still alive? And this is 2021. And so I started researching, and I found Oprah Winfrey's interview to Thich Nhat Hanh. And I saw that video, and I was like, oh my God, this guy, he's talking to me and my experience, and I want to be like this person. And I started researching, and then read the books, saw the videos, and then I found this place called Plum Village. And very naively of me, I was like, I'm going to invite them to come to Costa Rica to do a retreat here. And then I email every single email, and sent like a form in every single form that I found on the website. And then I got an answer. And then Ty actually passed away within like 8 months of that. And he wasn't teaching at the moment anyway, so I never really met him. But I did meet the monks and nuns that are continuing his practice. And they did come to Costa Rica, not for the retreat, but we ended up meeting there. And then they invited me to Plum Village. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do that. Wow. And then I ended up going to Plum Village. And it's like the thing when this is what I think, when you're looking for a teacher, and then when you find a set of teachings, is because not because of the teacher itself, but because the language resonates with your own language, with the language that you resonate within yourself. And so when I went to Plum Village, it was so simple and not pretentious, and everything just spoke to me, and I was like, okay, this is my practice, then I'm gonna
Mm,
continue in this path.
that's cool. I love that. And you spent, yeah, are you going back? You're in Colombia now. Like, is the idea that when we find a place, it's always with us, or you're like, oh, I got to live there, or yeah.
I sometimes I exaggerate a little bit, and so I end up going a lot to something, or just go all in. And so I spent 3 months this winter in Plum Village for the Rains Retreat. and which I can explain later what the rains retreat is, but it's a beautiful practice that comes from the times of the Buddha. And so I was in Plum Village for that. And then I went back because I collaborate with them in helping them organize in any capacity that they need extra help. And so I was again in April for the artist retreat, and now I'm leaving again this Sunday for the Order of Interbeing retreat, which I am an aspiring as an aspirant of the Order of Interbeing in the Plum Village tradition as well. But this is my last trip to the monastery. It takes a little bit of a budget to go so often. But when I'm not at the monastery, I have my own monastery in my home, which is also my temple, and I continue to practice them.
Yeah, please tell me about the rain retreat. Time of the
Yeah.
yeah.
So in the times of the Buddha, during monsoon season, he would invite all of the monks ordained to return to a practice center, to the nearest practice center that they had, and to basically um, lock themselves to deepen into their practice. And because also it was like monsoon season, it was the perfect time to concentrate. And so they would also get the help from the village and the people around to bring in food and to help service them, so they could just focus on the practice. And so this practice continues in many traditions and in many monasteries, but very few of them accept lay practitioners. Lay practitioners are practitioners that are not that are committed to the practice, but are not monks or nuns, are not monastics. So there are very few centers that accept lay practitioners, and Plum Village is one of them. And so during 3 months, you can come to Plum Village and practice alongside the monastics. And then, of course, women live in the monastery for women, at least in Plum Village, France. And then men are in the hamlet that is for men. And then twice a week we all gather together and then we practice together. But then in the meantime, we live with the we I live with the nuns, and then it was 3 months of deep practice and concentration and study, and it was pretty intense. It was very intense. At some point I wonder as well, like, how do they live like this all of their lives, concentrated like this? Wow. But in the end, it was like, wow, it gave me so much, that time at the monastery. It was a beautiful thing that I
Silent
did.
for 3 months?
No, there were a lot of silent moments. We had one full day silent and no devices, so no phones, no computers, no nothing. But then we had this practice called novel silence, which is not just not talking. Is the kind of silent, like the even the name itself, like noble silence, is the kind of silence that is rich. It's a shared silence that is like very enjoyable, because everyone is there and is concentrated in their practice, and there's no really need to talk. And
Mm.
so we had long periods of noble silence, but we also had classes, and then we had other activities that would allow us to talk.
This I know this like question of, damn, how do they do this forever? And do you feel like you got an insight as to how? Because I feel like I have an insight. Like when I do silent retreat, or even on a random meditation for some reason, or a random like sitting at a traffic light, I have these moments of profound peace that are
Mhm,
so unperformative.
mhm,
And so I imagine that in these, what we call like profound concentration, it's really not that hard for them. Like, it's not difficult anymore. Like, it's really just crossing
mhm,
the bridge where it's not effort. And it is a noble silence, or it is what I call sort of a non-performative peace. That's
mhm.
sort of what I aim for, aspire for. Uh, and I have, and because I've tasted it, you know, I always say ignorance is bliss until you've tasted bliss, and then the rest is just ignorance. Like because I've
Yes.
tasted it, I
Hmm.
know it's possible.
Hmm.
It's like it's beyond the effort. There's a possibility of like, this really nice piece. And is that, did you have those moments where you're like, okay, in these long sessions of practice, do you have these moments of, oh, it's actually not effort?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, there is a moment when you find yourself resting in the practice. You know, you don't even notice that you're practicing. And I guess, I mean, I have yet to be a nun to know for sure, but I guess that is also something that the practice in community brings, because it's not that you're on your own thinking all the time if you're practicing or not. In Plum Village, everything is an opportunity to practice,
Hmm.
and at the same time, it's
In
not
life
like
also.
yeah, and it's not like you're like, yeah, you are you practicing, you know, like everything that you do, if you drink water, if you walk around, if you have a conversation, if you have a meeting, when you're eating, like in every moment is an opportunity to practice. So what at least what happened to me is like, at some point, you know, I like when you cross the threshold of discomfort, because when you first get there, you know, it's like you are everything is uncomfortable because you're sharing a bathroom, you have roommates, you have a schedule. There's like so many things happening that you're like, why did I decide to come here? I was so, you know, good at home, like resting in my hammock, and then why do I have to do this to myself? And then once you cross that door, like that threshold, then you start just flowing with the river of the sangha, you know, like then there's not a lot of thinking, and there's not a lot of effort. And so I guess that's also, now that I'm saying it out loud, is like the wu wei, you know, like the action of no action, like the beauty of just being in that energy of practice without thinking about it all the time.
I
Yeah.
love cross the threshold of discomfort
Mm.
a lot, a lot. And we don't often cross discomfort. We like we see discomfort and then we turn back. Or we
Hmm.
even go around, or we like try to remove it versus just like go cross the threshold of discomfort.
Hmm.
There's
Well,
also
I think,
yeah, please.
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
There's something interesting about, you were like, we have this schedule and da 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 da, and
Hmm.
if you pack in, if you make it so like this is what I do, it removes you don't have to think so much, or like, what am I going to do today, or what should I do? And that's an interesting thing to me, because I also, you're like, oh, I need boundaries in order to be free, or can I be free, or do you just, is that the practice at first, create the boundaries to practice flowing, to practice sort of non-thinking, and then remove the boundaries and see if you still have it?
Hmm. I mean, I think it's like limits give you freedom. So whenever you are, you know, like when you've set yourself like, okay, I have a schedule, for example, I have a schedule on when I want to write, when I'm going to do my finances, like, you know, like you create your own schedule. You create for yourself a limitation that also helps you, as you said before, like not think of the time, what am I going to do today? How am I going to do, you know, you're just you are held by but those limitations. And so for sure that there's a beauty in that. And when you when you're in the monastery and you don't have to think that, what am I going to cook for lunch today or for dinner, or like at what time should I eat, you know, all of these things are taken care of. Then that allows for space for other things to emerge, and then you can actually have more, yeah, spaciousness in your mind, and also in your heart, to see how you think, to meet you, really. And when I came back home after that, that was the most difficult thing. It was like,
Mm.
I have no schedule, I have no limits, I have no boundaries. I like what like I Now I have to think every day for myself, what am I gonna do every day? And how am I gonna organize my days? It was very difficult, readjusting to reality, or like to this reality at least.
And what'd you do?
Well, I entered into a period of okay, so I wanna just tell you a little story with this, because I was living in the mountains, like in another, and it was more like a house in the mountains with my dog, and the cold and the fire, and like very much of a hermit. And then I went to Plum Village. I did this 3 months retreat. I come back home, and then all of a sudden, my home started like feeling big, like massive, and I felt my energy like disperse everywhere in the house, and it just like everything started to reshuffle in my mind of like, I think I have to move, but like, how do I do this? And then so it started a whole process of like 3 months of organizing my mind, of like coming back to chaos, and like mind chaos. And like meaning, like I didn't know where to start with my life again. And I also felt that where I was needed a shift. And so, but it took me some time to realize all of these things. So finally, I decided to move. I moved houses, and then I closed some things that they were like draining my energy, and then like I'm focusing my energy on some other things. So basically, that period of 3 months of I hadn't even thought about my life in Colombia. When I came back here, it was like, okay, I need to restructure, a lot of things.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's what letting illusion fade away and inviting spaciousness into your life will do for us. It will do restructuring, right? Ignorance is bliss till you've tasted bliss. And then you just want to taste that, and you can ignore it or decide to listen, but it can force your hand as to like, am I respecting what my spirit wants? Like
Mm,
that discomfort. I think people live actually a lot with a discomfort in them, but they just don't know how to name it, or they don't
mm,
have a relationship to it. And so they don't, when you make that space, you're like, God, I don't want to feel this way.
mhm,
Can I respect this? Can I respect my body and put it in a situation that it wants to be in?
mhm. Well, it's interesting that you bring again the discomfort part, because growth awaits for you on the other side of discomfort. Because if you're always, looking for only the comfort, or the comfortable place in your mind, or in your space, or with your, like with your surroundings, then nothing changes. And nothing changes as an illusion, because everything is changing all the time. You're the only one who's not wanting to face that change. And so, and as everything in life is like the main teaching, of every single tradition, impermanence. Discomfort is also impermanent. It's just a little moment that you have to like, adjust yourself, and then like do something that maybe you didn't want to do, or you were not prepared to do in that moment, but you know you got to do it, and then you cross that, and then something different is waiting for you on the other side. And so there's a moment of comfort again, until life again is like, okay, you're too comfortable there. Let's shake it up a little bit, and then you got to do the process again.
Discomfort as impermanence makes me think of like, I've had 2 knee surgeries. I've torn both my ACLs playing basketball. And even in profound painful moments, there is a fading away of of discomfort. Like there is even in the like swelling of the knee, the pain, there is moments where it's just like pretty peaceful. You're like, this is it. This is this is my life. And then it's
Yeah.
the storytelling around it that makes it more painful. Okay, so you you have found this beautiful practice. You are asking why you practice in this way. You're going back to the mountains of France. What are you going to become a nun? Is is it not even about that? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so before we go there, because I like that question that are you going to become a nun? I want to touch a little bit on what you said about pain. I also had one of my knees, my ACL fracture and surgery and all of that. But pain actually in like in my practice at least shortens the distance between your mind and your body because it's so painful that you really cannot think about too many other things. You can only be there with your pain and your body and your presence, and there is some comfort in that as well, because it's like, you arrive there, and obviously, we don't want to feel pain, and we don't want that to extend to prolonged periods of time. But um this happens to me also, like every month, when I get my moon, and I there's one day that I'm like, okay, this is the day that I live in my body 100%.
Mm.
Because it's very painful, and that, but it's just one day a month, and I can take it. I can do this. So also, I just wanted to like mention that around pain.
I like this is the
And
day I live in my body.
yeah, well, at least women have that opportunity,
It's
and
not
I
a
don't
bad, that's what I
know.
mean. It's not a bad mantra to
Yeah,
adopt.
yeah.
Like you don't have the pain doesn't have to come for us to make that beautiful declaration. This is the day I live
Hmm.
in my body.
Hmm. Exactly.
It's not, it really
Yeah.
is a nice mantra. Like this is the day I live in my body, not in the mind. It's why I like heart mind, instead that term instead of mind
Hmm.
mind, like
Hmm.
move the mind down in here. This is the
Hmm.
day I live in my body is so nice.
So nice. Yeah, I like that.
It's very freeing. It feels comforting. It feels grounding. It feels like it drops me down
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit. Okay, are you going to be a nun?
Well, of course, I went to the rains retreat with that question, because I enjoy the practice. I am going to be 40 years old this year. I have no kids and no partner, and at some point, it's like, is this all taking me to become a nun? I maybe this is where I want to go. So I am gonna go live in the monastery, and then see if that is what I want to do. And then once I was there, I was like, no. No, I enjoy life outside of the monastery, at least right now. And I truly enjoy the practice, but I also feel that I have more to offer to the monastery, to the practice, and to my community, serving outside of the monastery than in the monastery. And so I'm not going to become a nun, but I am going to get ordained in the
Mm,
order of interbeing, which is the community of committed practitioners, of this tradition, of this lineage. That was created. The Order of Interbeing was created by Thich Nhat Hanh, when he was like 23, 24 years old, and then this is in the midst of the war in Vietnam, and seeing, how values were getting lost. He brought together a group of friends and practitioners, and they wrote a series of precepts. It's like, we want to live by these precepts, no matter what happens, no matter how far this war goes. We are committed to these principles and to these precepts, and that's how the order got created. And so, as a lay practitioner, you get to also commit to, they are not called precepts anymore, they're called trainings. And you get to commit to these trainings to practice living an ethical life amidst the chaos.
when does this happen?
This is happening in 10 days.
Oh wow, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So when I see you in Colombia, you'll be transformed,
Well, I
or you'll
don't
be
do
who you
transport.
always were.
Yeah, I'll be who I've always been with a brown jacket.
Yeah, you'll be who you always were. I love that. So how long do you go out for?
To the monastery, I'll be
Yeah,
there for 21 days.
cool. Really
Hmm.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
It's been a dream of mine to get out there. Ty is a big inspiration teacher of mine. I've been to other centers around the United States, never anything globally, and never like I guess Plum would be the heart, and the others are like veins and limbs. Um, but I've never been to Plum, and it has been it's on the list of many life things to make happen. So I think
Yeah,
it's
well,
so cool that you
you
did
should
it.
come. You should make it. Yeah, it's a well, they have retreats all year long, literally every year, and they also do tours, and then they do like special trips, like the one we did in Morocco with the monastics.
Yes.
That we crossed the desert with the monastics. Hopefully, we get to do that again next year. We're working on that.
How
But
was
yeah,
that?
there are.
Can you talk about that?
Whoa. I have a fascination uh, with the desert, with Morocco, and with the spirituality of the desert. And when I walked the desert for the first time, I did it with a Sufi pilgrimage. And as I was there, I was like, "Wow, this is very beautiful," because the Sufi language is a language of love, but I'm still missing the practice component, like the really uh, deep entering into the raw experience of the present moment. And it would be beautiful to combine the the beauty that the desert and the endless horizons and the incredible silence that you find in this landscape, combine that with the practice of deep listening and contemplation, observation, and arriving in the present. And so I had this this vision, and that this should happen. And then I come to the monastery, and at this point I'm friends with the monks and nuns, and I'm like, "You guys, we have to do this. It's an amazing experience." And they were like, "Well, okay, send a proposal and then we'll see if it happens." And then I did, and I convinced them basically, and it was truly what
Did you
I
design it?
yes, I mean,
Wow.
I have a local team already set up, and I took care of all the logistics operations and all of that. And then Plum Village came in to deliver the teachings and to bring in the practice. And it was everything I had envisioned and a lot more than that.
Mm.
Walking with the monastics in the desert, and also meet having the monastics meet the desert people and their spirituality and their prayers, and then seeing how that also has a lot of interrelation. It was a really beautiful journey. Hmm.
Tell me more about your love of the desert. Yeah, what does the desert do, or
um,
have, or is, or yeah?
mhm. The desert is this place that allows for an inevitable connection to your own mind and to your own heart, because like when you look around, it's just vast landscape and horizon. You think the sky is like at a reaching distance, and when you are in such an open space with really no sounds, I mean, obviously you can hear the sound of the wind, and when there are gardens you can hear the wind with the trees, and then but it's just the sound of that in your own footsteps, and also, practitioners around you walking and breathing. And so there's like when you are there, all of this landscape, inner landscape, reveals itself. And you can it can be scary, sometimes when you have all of these things appearing to you all of the sudden, but at the same time, it's like the more you are in the desert, it's like the desert absorbs everything that is unnecessary, and it leaves you with what really matters, with what truly matters. And then somehow that opens your perception to awe and beauty, and then just the simple things just start becoming extraordinary.
Mm.
And so, just like a little dune that is like perfectly placed there with the background of the blue sky and the single cloud, and you're like, "Oh, wow, it's just magnificent." But it's your own inner landscape and perception that is being worked, let's say, when you're just walking in that silence. Yeah.
Uh, how many days were you walking in silence?
I've done 8 days. I've done
But wait, no,
five
with
days.
with Plum Village, how long was
With
that
Plum
walk?
Village, we did 5 days.
And then so you people walk and then they set up camp. Someone sets up camp, or there's no camp, or you set your own camp, or
Yeah, we have a team. We have a caravan, a team that with camels that they set up the camp. And when you arrive to the first base camp, is already set up. You only unpack your own things, your mattress and things like that, which is carried by the caravan. You don't have to walk with that. And then the next day, you pack your things, and then the camels take all the infrastructure, and then you walk with the things that you need for the day: water, extra layers, sunscreen, whatever, snacks. And then we're walking, we do lunch, we do some practices along the route, and then we arrive to the next base camp, and then it's already set up, and then we do that every day. Unpack, pack, unpack, pack, and walk.
wow, I love that so much. I saw it and I wanted to do that as well. It was like it was last
Mhm.
minute. It was hard to make happen. Um, but now I'm sold. So when you convince them again, please let me know
Yeah,
immediately.
it's looking like maybe February next year, February 2027. So.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, let me know all of that immediately. As we start to wrap up, any last ideas, any questions for me, any things you're thinking about?
Yeah, I guess you're also interested in practice, and interested in all of these like teachings and these influences. So I was wondering also, like, what is your practice and what influences you in on the path.
My practice is primarily rooted in sitting and like meditation. That's kind of I was in a funny way. I ended up at a silent retreat because I wanted, this woman asked me if I meditated. I didn't, and I liked her a lot, and so I said yes, I did. And then basically for a year I like maintained this lie, and she got me a plane ticket for my 21st birthday to Barre, Massachusetts to attend a 7-day silent retreat. And instead of telling her the truth, I was like, can't wait. And it was really, really hard. Um, and I went. Can you give me 1 second?
No
Yeah,
worries.
it's
Everything okay?
it's not okay, but that's why I
Mm,
practice. You're right. You asked why I
mm,
practice, and my practice is this. Like, um, my practice is to be in a moment, not outside of one.
mm,
To see beauty, um, in everything. To breathe. To let go profoundly. To open the
mm,
gate. Kind of all these things. Like I have tasted peace in the most chaotic moments and in the most peaceful moments, and I choose to be a peaceful being that puts medicine in the earth and that can hopefully alleviate suffering. And that's my practice. And so it's rooted in prayer. It's rooted in study. It's rooted in appreciating your cute dog behind you. It's rooted in community. Um, and yeah, what started as sitting, and then I really discovered the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, and that kind of changed my life. And so I started teaching courses on that and reading it a ton, and uh, discussion groups and study groups, and now I've yeah, and then that led into like a weekly meditation and Dharma group that would meet every week, and we had students all over the world, and now that's led to like in-person practice. We just did one in Mexico City, but uh, my practice is both selfish and non-selfish. It's selfish because I being in these conversations reminds me of the practice and to stay in it and to do the work, and I believe in liberation. I've suffered tremendously in my life of going after things and my desires and delusion, and I prefer to not live a life of highs and lows. It's just
Mm.
exhausting. And I prefer a life of equanimity where I can contain um, more joys, more sorrows, and not be so like thrown through the roller coaster of like, this email makes me feel good. This phone call about my mom makes me not feel good. It's just like, no, I can hold it all.
Mm.
Um, and so that's the practice, to cut it short. And I'm grateful for you, and you're beautiful, and it's beautiful. And thank you for your practice, and congrats on your
Ordination.
ordination. Thank you for the word.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no worries at all. And then, maybe at some point we'll do take three.
I want to take
And
three and a four and a
yeah,
five.
yeah, because
Um,
I also have questions for you based
yes,
on that.
let's do it. Let's do a take three and four and five, and let's keep in community, and I'll see you in Colombia, I'm sure.